Casters, welcome back to MetaZoo News, the podcast. This is episode 9. And this week, no MetaZoo Monday after a convention, as we have all come to know, but there are still some topics to cover. The first of which, speaking of, is the Houston Collecticon that just happened this past weekend. I was there. All of MetaZoo News was there. And we had a really good time. It's always fun to have Collecticon in your backyard when you don't have to worry about traveling and packing and all that good stuff. Some fun things at Collecticon Houston. We utilized some of the retro red tablecloths that you may be used to seeing if you are an old zoo fan that went to some conventions. We brought those out and set them up, and they looked amazing. I'm a sucker for nostalgia, though, so I really liked them at least. Perhaps the biggest point of news from the Houston Collecticon is the return of the inflatable moth. That's right, folks. You heard me. We had the MetaZoo moth, that giant one, like the super big giant inflatable moth. We found it, we set it up, and man, it brought me back to years and years ago when MetaZoo came to the Houston Collecticon, and I was lucky enough to be able to go and play some Cryptid Clash. Shout out to those of you who remember that. And always that moth just transfixed me. You know, I was just immediately drawn to that giant moth. And again, as a kid from West Virginia who grew up living and breathing Mothman, you can imagine that I was very pleased to see the moth once again. Setting that thing up is quite the task, and there is no instruction manual, so it was quite the task. You should have seen us trying to put it up, though, at the end of the show. Ben and I were tasked with the mammoth, no pun intended, task of putting that thing away. And if you're not familiar, this thing comes in a relatively small box. I got to be honest, when we were deflating it, I was like, there's no way that this is going to fit in the box. There's no way. Unless we have some sort of vacuum sealer, I don't see it happening. Thankfully, we were, in fact, able to put it back in the box, not as nicely as we got it out of, but that's to be expected. But it does fit in the box. No holes, nothing bad happened to that thing since the last time it was brought out and used. So it was a really fun time. And deflating it, man, that's a exercise in and of itself. I feel like I just got sweaty thinking about it again. but really fun time. Lots of learn to plays in Houston. Lots of conversions to sales, which was nice to see. And if you saw the Houston summary video online, you may have also noticed that the Cryptid Nation version of Bigfoot was sighted all throughout the event. And that is because we got our hands on one of the unused items from Old Zoo that I'm sure they were planning to use eventually, which was the fully customized to MetaZoo, Cryptid Nation, Bigfoot costume, like a giant mascot costume. We found it, and we sure did use it. We sure did. Thankfully, it wasn't like 110 degrees in Houston, but it was 110 degrees in the suit. And on Saturday, Ben actually was Bigfoot, and then on Sunday, I was Bigfoot. So in that summary, that recap video, you're just seeing me as Bigfoot in that instance. But, excuse me, Ben actually was Bigfoot, like I said, the previous day. And the funny thing about that costume, there's a few things. First and foremost, the the handbook it comes with is hilarious. At least the very first line of it's hilarious. And the very first line goes something along the lines of, the best way to keep cool is to have a good attitude. So I can confirm, by the way, that in fact does not keep you cool. Unfortunate but true. Unfortunate but true. So that thing, that the costume, it looks just like the Poncho Bigfoot from Cryptid Nation. Ben actually got a photo with Poncho while he was in the Bigfoot suit, so that was a full circle kind of moment there. And then on Saturday, we walked around. Bigfoot took some pictures with kids, scared other kids. It's hard to say what a small child's reaction is going to be to a very large, hairy man walking around the convention. But overall, great impressions. I know everyone at the booth loved the Bigfoot costume, and I'm sure a lot of you online loved seeing it too. There are inside of it, there's like room for ice packs and like water cooling and stuff. We unfortunately did not freeze the ice packs. So those weren't actually useful. They definitely would have been useful if we had used them, but we did manage to get a small little fan inside of the head of the costume, which made it bearable. But you can see me. I was trying to play MetaZoo at the booth as Bigfoot, and you may have seen me crash out there. And I actually took the score counter, and as you all know, 30 is the amount of points it takes to win the game, and you can't really see out of the costume very well at all. It's not like, oh, you can see out of the mouth or something like that. It's very hard to see anything, which is why you need like 1 to 2 people, your handlers, effectively, just leading you around to different places. So I wasn't able to actually see the cards, and so when I crashed out, I took that little scorekeeper and I just hit the button. I kept hitting it, and I had no idea what it was, but it landed at the end perfectly on 30. I didn't even see it, and I set it down and then started flexing on the camera. So that was fun. It worked out really well. I do not know if I will be Bigfoot in the future. Maybe if we get the ice packs, I'll be Bigfoot in the future. But other than that, probably not. But as always, I love doing anything I can for MetaZoo, so being Bigfoot or whatever it takes, I will do it for the brand, because I love MetaZoo. And if you're listening to this, I assume you also love MetaZoo, or at least the idea of MetaZoo. So, other than Collecticon Houston, up next, we do have Dallas Collecticon, which is next week. So if you are in the DFW area, Oklahoma, wherever, take a drive down. Come see us. It'll be a fun show. We will have, as far as I know, the Bigfoot costume available. So you may get a picture with Bigfoot himself. And whoever is in the Bigfoot costume would be happy to sign your Bigfoot cards as Bigfoot. First signed from the cryptid itself. No, you don't see that very often. So keep that in mind. Anyway, one other update about Collecticon. I am actually now going to be able to go to New Jersey Collecticon. So I am super pumped about that. That is going to be one hell of a show. And like we mentioned on the previous episode, Pierre from France and Fran from Spain are flying in to be part of the MetaZoo team of artists who will sign the first card or item you have for free. And then I believe every signature after that's $15, and then a doodle is $55, I believe. But their doodles and signatures are well worth it, especially if you don't get to go to conventions very often, and doubly especially if you can make it to New Jersey, just because this is going to be one of the very few times where MetaZoo flies out international artists to an event. So it will be a huge event. You will absolutely not want to miss it. So mark your calendars there for the weekend of November 23rd to the 24th, I believe, are the dates. Mark your calendars for that, and hopefully we'll see you there. Up next, we have a spoiler to go over that was dropped in the Discord. I think Ben dropped it earlier. It is the Ravenmocker, and it is a beautiful card. Absolutely gorgeous. Let's open it up here. There was also another spoiler that we'll get to here in just a moment. But the Ravenmocker, here it is. So the Ravenmocker is an alt art, at least the one that was spoiled is an alt art. Rephrase that. It is a dark aura type. It costs 3 aura to play and contributes 2 influence, along with having the aura enhancements symbol on it. The ability is called Ravenous Mock. On play, put 1 hex counter on each rival unit in this lane. And then again, for each hex counter on it, a unit contributes 1 less influence during missions. So for a 3-cost card, this immediately is like super beneficial, and anyone that is running a dark deck of any kind, I think this is going to be in it. So just immediately reducing the influence that a unit contributes during missions, just immediately on play, again, for 3 cost, for affecting potentially up to 5 different units, I think that is some serious value. And I do think the Ravenmocker will see a lot of play, especially as competitive play kicks off at the end of this year and into 2026. So definitely a very playable card. It was illustrated by Poncho, the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend. It is card 179 out of 173 in the set. And yes, you heard me correctly. If you are not yet familiar, the 173, or any of the numbers that are listed on any of the sets, whether it be 239, 259, or now 173, that's the amount of cards that are not your alts, legends, or hidden rares. So every other card other than that is encompassed in the 173. Any cards that are special, like alt arts, what I just said, are considered extra cards. And so that is why the number is 179 out of 173 instead of vice versa. It is from the Appalachian Mountains. It is a creature card, a cryptid. The other attributes are afflicted and terror. And again, those are going to come into play as the sets release and more expansions get put out. MetaZoo is going to lean more into the different attributes that these cryptids and even equipment have. So be on the lookout for that. That was a beautiful card, the Ravenmocker. And the other one here is Sea Salt, which is an equipment card. It is a unique card, meaning you can only have one out on the battlefield here. It is a 4-cost, 4-influence water equipment, and the ability is entitled Enhance Flavor, and at the end of a round, gain 1 MP. So you are just getting free mission points at the end of each round, as long as you have that equipment out. So, hey, I am stocking up 3 of those in my water deck for sure. But that's a fun little spoiler. The art of it is a little ghostly fiend opening up a door, and it looks like on a kitchen counter is some sea salt in a jar, and it looks like that fiend is fiending for some sea salt. So that was the other spoiler. That one was posted on, I think, the 27th, when they said they weren't going to do a MetaZoo Monday. So just FYI, if you wanted to go find it in the Discord, that is where you're going to find it at. Up next, we have a fun little contest that was just announced today, I believe. In the announcements tab, we have, quote, "Get your carving tools ready. The MetaZoo Pumpkin Carving Contest is here. From October 31st to November the 7th, share your MetaZoo or cryptid-themed pumpkin designs for a chance to win a one-of-one Halloween Snipe art card, hand-drawn by MetaZoo artist Lily McKay. Show off your creation using the hashtag MetaZooHalloween on Instagram or post it here in the MetaZoo Discord. One winner will be selected for the custom one-of-one card. And it is a beautiful looking card. It's a little snipe inside of a pumpkin. One little detail that I like about the card is Snipe's leaf looks like it's a fall leaf. It's like a red and yellow leaf instead of his normal green leaf. So that's a fun little addition there that you can look at. But it's a cool looking art card with a black background. It has Lily's signature in the bottom left and then one-of-one in the bottom right. So that will be some definite bragging rights for whoever wins that card. That contest already has gotten a lot of buzz in the Discord, and I look forward personally to entering it. I am not entirely sure what I'm going to do yet, but I was thinking maybe like the Boogeyman, Mrs. MC and my wife, Metacarpals, she wants to do the Loch Ness Monster, and I'm terrible at it, so we're probably going to go through a few pumpkins before it's all said and done with, but that's okay. Practice makes perfect, right? So definitely get your pumpkins ready and carved and submit them on social media, Instagram, or on the MetaZoo Discord. MetaZoo Maniac's dad posted I don't even know how you beat this. It's like the Nightfall moth that has the MetaZoo logo. It looks awesome, and I just don't think that I can beat it for sure, and I would be surprised if other people had like something of that caliber. But you know what? Those other people could be you. If you got an artistic bone in your body, what are you waiting for? Go out, get a pumpkin, and start carving. Up next, the next portion of this isn't like news. It's more or less a community segment of the show. And I'm going to go down and address some of these items. The first of which, every time after a convention, we are accustomed to them delaying or just skipping MetaZoo Monday for that week, as everyone is traveling back home from the conventions, which is understandable. I get it. But of course, every single week, people are not pleased by that, and I understand that too. So, people still have the same suggestions of just moving it to a different day. I don't see an issue with moving it to a different day. It doesn't have to be Monday. I do still want to say that I think it's valuable to have these weekly chats. And specifically, I think it's more valuable when you have a host that is able to answer questions. So a Meta2 or a GQL person preferably. And that is no knock whatsoever against like TMX or other community leaders who want to like start conversations and just have like a community hangout. I'm not referencing that. I think that's an awesome idea that we should just do more often anyway. Have a community chat every Wednesday or something. I don't know. But I like when TMX leads it because it's just a fun thing. But for the news stuff and to answer questions that people have about the product and the direction, I think it's very, very important, especially in the beginning like this, to be available on a weekly basis to answer questions. That's just my 2 cents. I think a lot of you agree with that. But again, with any of these opinions I'm about to give, you're free to agree, disagree, whatever. It's not going to offend me in any way if you don't agree with what I have to say. And definitely hit me up on Instagram. at metazoo.news or meta.shab. And let me hear your opinions on anything that we have gone over today, and I will be happy to air them in the next episode. The other thing that I'd like to go over, there's always going to be doom and gloom, with people, especially with MetaZoo, after, seeing the company fail once. A lot of people are very, hypersensitive about that kind of thing because they don't want to be invested in something for it to disappear again. And I think that's a normal human reaction to something like this, where we see a revival of the brand that died. It left many people, out in the dust. It cost people thousands and thousands of dollars. And so there's, like we've said before, I understand why there's bad blood with MetaZoo, the brand. But I think, it's a little silly to speculate about the downfall of MetaZoo when it was released this past March. I think that's a little premature. But, there's, on the Discord and on YouTube, there's a lot of, just pure speculation going on about the future of MetaZoo. And you have people, and again, I'm not going to name names or anything. You can scroll through the Discord if you want. But you have people that are talking about TCG Player and the lack of access like it's a life and death thing for MetaZoo, and it's simply not. Obviously, MetaZoo wants to be on TCG Player. The old MetaZoo is still on TCG Player, and TCG Player has a lot of dead TCGs that it still hosts. So, this whole thing about we need TCG Player to carry new MetaZoo, I agree. I think it should carry new MetaZoo. I think it will make it more accessible and easier to buy. But I don't think that it not being on TCG Player is like the death knell for MetaZoo whatsoever, not even close. But you can just look at the Discord and just see so much crazy doom and gloom over TCG Player, just extrapolating the lack of TCG Player, meaning a lack of popularity and a lack of success. And just honestly, it's sort of funny when you read some of these things. And again, I don't want to call people out or anything, but when people say things like, the demand for cards have dropped significantly, you don't see any content online, the marketplace isn't there, there's no momentum, I think all of that is someone's personal opinion and not an actual market analysis. And, the closest thing that comes to a market analysis is MetaZoo Menace's videos. But again, we're looking at a portion of the market. So you have eBay sales, which is the only thing that Menace really looks at, which I commend him for and all. But eBay is not the only place MetaZoo is sold. You have a huge swath of independent local game stores that are online, online retailers that sell MetaZoo, and that have already sold out of Secret Shadow pre-orders. I know that for a fact. I don't know. I just think it's a little silly and premature to talk about MetaZoo like that, and to say that there's no content online. I mean, you're just not looking in the right places. If you truly cannot find content online, and you're not just saying this as rage bait, which you can read these messages yourselves and decide for yourself whether it's someone's opinion or someone's just trying to do rage bait. Obviously, there's a bunch of MetaZoo content online. You're listening to some right now. We put out weekly posts on Instagram. I mean, you have MacDeezy TCG who rips packs every day and posts them. You have MetaZoo Games who posts all the time, whether it be stories, reels, actual posts. All of those happen all the time. You have new lore getting pumped out nearly daily by MGR. And you have a website that's constantly updating. So to say that there's like a lack of content, and I didn't even go over the YouTubers that are out there making videos. So to say that there's no content out there is disingenuous at best and rage bait at its worst. Additionally, again, like the market stuff, I get it. eBay sales are anemic, or at least appear to be anemic. Understand. There is about to be a set released, and I think people are, instead of buying a bunch of Tides boxes, are waiting to buy a bunch of secret shadow boxes. I know I am. I'm not going to buy any more Tides boxes. I'm all Tidesed out, for the most part at least. I'm still working on my master set, by the way. If any of you have some hidden rares, let me know, and I might be interested in picking them up. But, you know, I think it's silly, once again, to say they don't have momentum. I mean, they're doing, you know, a community spoiler season again. I don't know. You know, people's opinions are valid, and if that's what you believe, it is valid. I get it. But just remember that you're looking at like such a small slice of the pie, and then to like extrapolate your personal observations to the entire future of a card game, talk about hubris. I mean, hey, you must be a TCG expert, so I look forward to seeing your name in lights in the next Pokemon release. But in all seriousness, you know, again, you don't have to agree with me, and I certainly don't have to agree with you, and that's just my opinion on the matter. Everyone is constantly, you know, even back in old Zoo, you had people constantly be dooming and glooming about MetaZoo's future, and even back when it was like ultra booming, you know, think like Nightfall, you still had people, that say, well, the Nightfall is going to be the last set. It's just going to be the last set. There's no way they can make. It's just ridiculous. So that's my take on it. One last thing here, since we're talking, I mentioned briefly the community spoiler season on Halloween. Halloween, folks, mark your calendar. You're probably listening to this on Halloween or after Halloween, as right now it's like 4 p.m. on Thursday as I'm recording this, so I recorded it a day late. Might be. But you're probably going to listen to this on or after Halloween, so if that is the case, go check out the MetaZoo News Instagram and look at our latest spoiler for Secret Shadows. I think we did a great job on the spoiler. It's in the same vein as our last spoiler, so if you enjoyed that, you will definitely enjoy this. And as a little preview, I don't want to give away too much, but let's just say that someone or something is watching from the shadows, and tomorrow we will shine a light on them. It will be a character that you are very familiar with if you are an old Zoo head, and one that I think people are very eager to see return. And what better night than Halloween to show it off? So with that, I leave you today. That is all that was on my agenda to talk about in this episode, which is episode number 9 of MetaZoo News, the podcast. Until next week, sayonara.